Okay, hello everyone. I'm going to share my screen just to show you agenda. We don't have much, to be honest. We have two items today. One is triage feedback, and we have one topic from Shoma. He wanted to demo a proposal. And the first, we need, I guess, to hear from Livo and Ishita if there was anything that requires this.
Sure, I can start. No big issue in terms of nothing stood out for me in terms of the open issues. Just one thing I wanted to highlight is an open PR that I'm actually working on for the server-side apply implementation. Ben is providing some feedback. He's already trying in his company servers. So that PR is, I'm planning to merge that as soon as I get a final feedback from him. So he's been a beta tester for the server-side apply in Argo CD. So just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Yeah, good to know someone tried it in production. Makes it much easier, I guess, to review.
Yeah. Not sure if Ishita has something to say as well.
Same here. There were no big issues, and even the discussions were quite light this week. So yeah, nothing came out.
Okay, and I'm guessing we need to choose someone else, and we have like 6 attendees today. So basically, it's either Jonathan, Y, or Kate. Oh, Michael. Okay, Michael. Anyone wants to be moderator next week?
Yeah, this is Jonathan. I'm happy to do it.
Thank you, Jonathan. Wait. And okay, anyone else? Anyone else to join Jonathan?
I can do it.
All right. Okay. All right. So we had so Shoma wanted to discuss the proposal today. Shoma, do you want to go ahead and do you need to share your screen? Let me know if yes, I can just stop sharing.
Yep. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, I would like to share my screen.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me just share my screen. Okay. Let me know if you can see the doc.
I can see it. Yeah. I think it's good, big enough. No need to make it bigger for me at least.
Hopefully this is good.
Now it's
yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Hello everyone. I'm Shomo, and today I'm going to present my proposal for deep links. So basically, deep links is an integration into the Argo CD UI that would let users quickly redirect to third-party integrations or systems like Splunk or Datadog. It is basically a generic solution, so it does not really have to be a popular solution. It could be also a private or custom solution that the user is running on this own system. So I'll go through the proposal, the summary, and the how I plan to implement it a bit. Is that a good idea, Alex? Or is there a specific format like I'm new to this?
I think goal is just to explain as best as just share whatever you think is useful to make it clear what this feature is about. Yeah. So.
Sure. Okay. Cool. So basically, the motivation for the deep links is that we want users to be able to integrate external systems, like, for example, the solutions that I already mentioned, like Splunk or Datadog, right? These are basically the most popular solutions used for monitoring matrix logs and stuff, right? So what I envision deep links to do is basically provide links into our Argo CD UI, current UI, for specific resources, like it could be applications, projects, or even specific resources inside applications like services, pods, etc. and users can get these links in the summary tab or somewhere in those application or resource specific sections, where they can click a particular link, let's say for metrics of a particular pod or logs aggregation for that particular pod or something like that, right? So that's basically the goal of this, and it is pretty simple. Users don't have to really code anything or things like that. They don't really have to do anything apart from setting some very simple configurations in the Argo CD config map. So they'll just list all the links that they want the UI to present, and the links are also templated, so users can use the details that Argo CD already has, like for example the resource name, kind, namespace, or application specific details, or even the project details, depending on where the particular link is going to show up, right? So yeah, that's mainly the goal. And going a little bit into where and how the deep links would work is, like, I don't really have a design right now, but basically these links would show up in specific places that we want. So for example, like I was talking about applications, right? So when we click on an application, we could see these links showing up in the application summary tab. So for example, if an application is deployed in a particular namespace, we could have a link in the application summary tab that shows the namespace resource usage or something like that, that comes up there, right? And users can click on that and they'll be directed to the platform, whatever platform that they are using for this service of monitoring resources, and they can see the resource usage for that particular application itself, right? So something like that. And similarly, these links can show up in project section. For example, the tab that we have for projects, if there's some project management stuff that they want to add into the projects, then they can do it there also. And similarly for resource specific things like pods or services or deployments and stuff like that, those links are also there. So yeah, so that's mostly the proposal, what the proposal is about. I've put down the basic implementation or design details of how we plan to do it. So you can probably take a look at that. I can also probably go through the config map changes that I think would be beneficial, like would be needed for this particular proposal, right? So this is an example config map that we have for the deep links feature. So for example, there are 3 types of locations where we can show the deep links as of now: the project links, the application links, and the resource links. So for example, the project links would be where the project tab is, right? That's where the links will show up. The applications, like I said, would be in the application summary tab, and resource specific would be in the resource specific tabs, right? And each link, like each section will have a list of links that the user can list. So in this case, for the project tab, we have a simple URL and a title for that link that will be basically shown or displayed in the UI. And like I mentioned about the templating, the URLs are templated, so users can use information that is already present in Argo CD. Like for example, in the project, it could be the project name. If it's an application, it could be application namespace, application specific details and stuff like that. We also have access to Argo CD secrets in there. So if there's some specific access token or something required to access the third-party system, we can pull the data from the Argo CD secret also. And that secret is specific to links. So this is an example Argo CD secret that we propose for having specific secrets that can be used by the deep links feature. So anything that is prefixed by links would be what is accessed by the deep link feature or the rendering part of things, right? So yeah, so that's mostly it. And we also have a conditional rendering feature. So if the user does not want the links to show up in all resources, like, or all applications, something like that, they can put a conditional rendering, like if condition basically here, that would check the condition first, and if it is true or valid, then only the link would be rendered in that particular location basically. So yeah, so that is mostly the use case. Like I mentioned, if a user wants to query a particular log or metrics for a particular resource, they can just click on that deep link for the particular application or solution that we have, like Splunk or Datadog, and they can redirect to that product, and they can just see the information in that particular thing. I think that is mostly it. If you have any questions, I would be happy to take them up and go through the discussion.
I guess my first comment, can you push this as a standard issue in Argo proj? Because it's published, I'm not sure, is this a blog post or something?
Yeah, it's
So-
just a hack MD thing. I'll make sure to put this in the proposal like an issue after this after I present it. Sure. Yeah.
Cool, thank you. Otherwise, it looks really good.
I had not a question. I just realized that I have a comment about spec. Maybe can you scroll down a little bit, Shoma, to the YAML file? I got that idea. So we worked recently on supporting JavaScript extensions for application. It's similar to a link because you can specify, you can create an extension that renders a tab for a resource, and we wanted to extend it to application as well. And in order to avoid, okay, so long story short is application is also a resource. So it's one idea that I got. Basically, we can just get rid of applications link and then cover it with the, this if condition. Basically, yeah, you could just say if, application is no different from any other resource. Yeah, so it kind of just less settings, the better.
Makes sense. Absolutely. Yeah, I think
Unless-
that we can change it.
And
like-
maybe actually same with the project. It's kind of, yeah. Project is the same as application. It's just a resource.
But the
Mhm.
like I was thinking of how the UI would render. Like I can think of applications probably because the resource and the application, all of them kind of show up in the same UI section. Like when we click on the application, we get the
Mhm.
details. But for projects, the location would be different. Like, and the UI would need to query list of locations. Like for example, how I was thinking of it was like the UI would just send a request to the backend and ask for send me all the links for projects and I'll get that, and send me all the links for an application and I'll get that, or something like that. But yeah, maybe
Yeah, it's.
problem
I feel like it's like I think we're just trying to find balance between convenience and how many settings we want to have in Argo CD. So it's like I think only difference between what I'm proposing is like if we get rid of projects and applications, we kind of force users to always have if condition, and if we keep projects and application, then we have this implicit filter. And I to be honest, I don't know. Maybe we better discuss it in pull request. Don't make decision right now. You see what I'm saying, right? You can replicate, if we get rid of projects, you can replicate the same kind of behavior if end user adds kind filter in this if condition, and then we can just like API that probably will have API that is responsible to get list of links. It will, like when user open a project, we just API would take this project resource, feed it to this, run it through all of these if conditions, and the ones that returns true, they would just, I mean, those would be used. Yeah.
I think that might be
Yeah.
like we can probably go for a more generic solution like that. Yeah, now that I think of it, yeah, because all of them are basically resources. So yeah, we could do that. So.
And then I wanted to, I think it will be either way, like this question will bubble up. So, and heads up, like we work together on proposal with Shoma, that's why I know the detail. So here, if you see that we have URL, and URL it uses Golang templating. And then we have if condition. The use case for if condition is you Okay, I can give example of a use case. Let's say we want to show a link that redirects user to Splunk for every pod, but often sometimes organizations use different Splunks, and that's why only way to achieve it is to maybe ask end users to annotate pods with a Splunk host. And so then if condition could be helpful because you can have a URL, that's shown only for pods that has annotation, particular annotation. So, and as a result of it, we have a URL that uses Golang templating, and we have this if condition that we propose to use library, the same kind of expression library that we are using in Argo workflows and Argo notifications. So kind of two languages, but yeah, just a heads up. So I think my reason to propose it is because we already tested it. That's the best we could find. That's the explanation. It's not perfect, but we could not find a language that can serve both, templating and evaluating the expression.
Do you anticipate the links being evaluated client side or server side?
I think it has to be server side. On client side, we don't have capability to do. I was thinking maybe some API. We have API that returns list of actions, and so the API is, I think it's literally application level API that. So it's a okay in gRPC. It's we have gRPC server called application service, and it has get resource actions. So I'm thinking we might just have get resource links methods there.
I'd suggest considering using for the interpolation Go text templating. I know it's a little bit heavyweight for this use case, but since like application set will be Go text template capable soon, and fast template is deprecated, rather than introducing some third new thing, I feel like it'd be good to standardize on one language if possible.
Which one is it?
I think he's mentioning about the standard Go template.
I think I was okay. We use it for URL. The URL would be Go, text templating, and then the if condition. I think it's just the Golang. Okay. One way, I guess, to use Golang templating here is if we assume that if condition we interpolate it as a string, and that string must be either true or false. Is it what you're thinking, Michael?
For the if condition, I could imagine using Go evaluate. That's used in workflows and just is pretty common.
Okay, maybe I agree. I would try to minimize number of languages we have. Yeah. I know that this expression language that I mentioned, it was chosen because we use it in Argo notifications, so it's already kind of there. But I'm all for if we can reduce. I mentioned that I wanted to give a heads up, because I know that people here will be looking at PR, so maybe we can discuss and pull request and decide which one to use. Okay. Sounds like no more questions, right?
During the explanation, Sumia, you mentioned about where the DIP links will be placed. I think I understood that it will be placed. The suggestion is to have it placed in the summary page or in the main tab. So in the configuration, the users won't be able to define where the links will be placed, right? Because when you click the resource box in Argo CD UI, it opens up the slide panel, and then with several tabs.
Right. Yeah. So I think the initial thought was to have it in the summary itself, like like one after another. Like we just add links that the user has added to the summary itself, section itself, and that's where we want to do it. But I think it's completely up to the UI. Like if we want to make changes to the UI, let's say we want to do it on a even we want to add to, let's say, a drop down that's available when you click on the on the graph itself. You can get some shortcuts. So in there also we can put the links if you want to. Like that's depending on where the user, what the UI wants to do it. But currently the idea was to have it in the summary tab, because that's probably a good place to have a lot of information for the particular resource.
Yeah, I agree. I was mainly thinking, Alex, and about how this would be compatible with the extensions, with Argo CD extensions.
Oh.
Let's say if someone creates a new tab in the extensions and they want deep links to show up in that specific tab instead of the summary tab, how that could be defined. But maybe this is something for a future proposal or no? Yeah, not sure.
Just like one idea, all extensions has access to API. So if for whatever reason this like the tab provided by extension needs deep links, it can just get deep links using API code.
You mean not using this functionality, but by defining their own UI?
Oh no, by using the same functionality, like in order to provide these deep links to normal UI, node extensions, we will have to have an API. And UI would get these links using API. So that same tab can get links through API as well.
Okay, through the API, I see.
And then, okay, but we didn't mention it, but maybe can spark some ideas. So one way to implement it was to just kind of do nothing and just build extension that make it possible to inject links through extension, and then anyone can build extension that inject links, whatever kind of. And in this case, we would not have any templates, if-else conditions here, because it would be like just generic way to inject links, and then so we still want to propose this kind of declarative approach because it's just better user experience. If we give a generic way, that means eventually like the developer of extension would have to invent something like this. And basically, I think this declarative way is much more approachable for end users. Like I can see how more people use it because you don't have to learn JavaScript, you don't have to build any website, it's just a configuration.
Yeah, I have a
so
question.
Again, sorry. Again, it seems that we are going to need a new API for serving this feature. Maybe it's good to update the proposal with this API definition, maybe.
Oh, I agree, actually, yes.
Because it's a new operation, the current API.
It will make it clear. And I think if we had just description of where in UI links will show up, it will help too. So I would maybe show more.
I'll add the specific ones. Like I think I added them here, show up in the application summary tab. But yeah, I will make specific changes that we discussed maybe on the issue, and I'll also add the API spec for this new thing that.
Yeah, I have a question. It's somewhat related to what you guys are talking about, but I know you have a title but will you need an optional description as well? Like maybe a description of what the link is about. Maybe it'll be placed next or adjacent to the link so that users know what the link is.
Yeah, it's actually a good idea, I think.
Yeah,
And
I think
then-
we can.
And also for tooltip, actually not tooltip, but yeah, basic description.
I would call it description, and then UI can decide where to put it. In the maybe
Yeah.
tooltip or maybe.
Yeah.
How about icon? Would be icon useful? If we put it into drop down, icon would be helpful too.
Yeah. But how do we put an external link for the icons? Like then.
Okay.
When you're like, image.
I just assume. I mean, the simplest way to let user choose icon is we can just say it's anything from font awesome, and then it's just a text.
Got it. Yeah, I think we can do that. Sure.
So maybe explicitly call it icon class. Yeah.
Sure. I'll add two more fields to this one. One is description and an icon class or icon for this one. Sure. Just note them down. For now.
All right. I think we're done with this topic, right? If yes, then we can move to the next one. We don't have anything on the list, I think. Oh, sorry, Shoma, did you want to add anything else?
No, I was just going to say I'll stop sharing them. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, everyone. I'll just stop sharing.
Thank you, Shama.
All right. Yeah, and there is nothing else on the list. Any other anything else anyone wants to discuss? Okay, sounds like no, and I think we either way close to end of the meeting. Guess that's it for today.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. All right.
Thank you.